This is CLNS Radio, the home of Internet Sports Talk Radio.
Welcome to Victory Lane Radio. Get ready for another episode of New England's favorite racing talk show. Join us as Eric and Al talk about your favorite tracks and drivers. The action starts now.
Driver of the number 97 Poles Automotive, New Hampshire Precision Ford Fusion, and winner of the 2011 Fall Foliage 200 Airborne, Joey Polewarczyk Jr. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, we're just talking about your lack of crew.
Yeah, it's been one of those rough years. It's anyone who's around racing. It's really it's a tough sport to dedicate all your time to. I mean, it's not it's every weekend, and usually you're spending nights in hotels or in trailers or campers, and it's hard. It's hard to dedicate yourself to that, but we have a good group of guys, a core group of guys that we have right now, and next year I'm sure we'll have more people, but we got the job done with who we had on Saturday, and had a good run on Sunday as well.
Yeah, you got to be happy with both those runs. I mean, you came, you obviously are happy with Saturday. Of course, you ended the 2011 season the same way you ended 2010 season with the last points scanning race as a victory, which will propel you into 2012, whether you realize it now or not. It's got to, you always got to keep that in the back of your mind that, okay, I'm the last person to win a points race this year, so it'll definitely pump you up for 2012, I'm sure.
Oh, it really does. I mean, it's been a tough year. Last year, towards the end of the year, we really couldn't do anything wrong, and
right.
things fell our way, and then we went to New Smyrna and had a great run down there, and it just just never took off at the start of the year this year. The first race is so important, and we just didn't go our way this year, and just kind of put us behind the eight ball right away at the beginning of the year, and it never propelled, and we kept trying. We had good runs, and then something would happen, and it just it never happened. But at least this weekend we were able to pull everything all together, and Airborne hasn't been one of our best tracks on paper, but we had a great car, and we were just smart with it. It took our car about 3 laps on restarts to get going, and especially if you're on the inside line on the restart there, it was just it was tough to get a run. And Randy Potter got us there on the last restart, but unfortunately for him, he drove off the backstretch a little bit, which I've done that too, and I didn't keep going. I destroyed my car, but it happens, and I took advantage of it, and we were able to come away with the win.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of something like that because there's no there's no gimmies, Yeah. So you ended up. Do you think maybe the expectations? I mean, you've been on the show a few times. We put expectations on you. I mean, everybody did. After you win 5 out of the last 10 point races in 2010, you come right out. You win the Goodyear Speed Weeks Cup, whatever the hell it's called, at New Smyrna, and I mean, everybody is saying your name. I mean, your name is popping up everywhere. Going to be the champion. Somebody's going to dethrone Brian Hoare. Brian's going to be on a little bit later, by the way. I got a few key questions I want to ask you about him a little bit later on too. But do you think that you put too much pressure on yourself?
I think that may have had a little bit to do with it. This year, like you said, going into the year, after the way we ended the season, that's what everyone was saying. We're going to dethrone Brian. Right. If anyone can do it, it's going to be our year to do it. And we did. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and like I said, it all started at Lee when we got off to that bad start, and of course up to that race. That's during the off season. That's what people were talking about, and when that happened at Lee, it just kind of. I mean, the ACT Tour is just so tough. It's just so tough to compete when you have one bad race, and that was already, one bad race, and it's just a bad way to start when it happens your first time out, and. Like I said, we just kind of got behind the eight ball, and everyone we were so good at the end of last year that we just didn't touch anything, setup wise. We didn't want to, why fix something that doesn't need to be fixed, and we kind of just stayed with what we had, and we never got better. Meanwhile, everyone else knew that they had to step their game up and get better, and they did, and we kind of fell behind them a little bit, and towards the end of the year we started getting ourselves into the a different kind of setup and just figuring new things out that everyone's been going to, and it really showed this past weekend.
Yeah, so you're kind of admitting that you guys get caught behind the 8 ball a little bit as far as effort in the off season. That's a lesson learned for sure. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I wouldn't imagine this off season.
No, we're gonna this off season we're gonna strip the cars down on the chassis, get them powder coated, and we're gonna be good to go next year. I mean, we're not gonna like I said last year. When you do so well towards the end of the year and win almost everything there is to win, it's tough to want to change anything, and we didn't, and we fell behind, and that's a lesson learned, and we'll be ready to go next year.
That's true. You do have one more race this year. You are entered in the pass race at Oxford, which should be a fun race for you.
Yeah, definitely. We had a pretty good run there last time we went there with the pass car, and we'll be trying a couple of different things this weekend there, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to go there. I'm excited to get this last race done, and just try to finish off just as strong as we were this past weekend. And like I said, we had a great run there last time we were there, so hopefully we can do a little bit better and try to earn our first pass win.
Definitely, man. Any plans for running anywhere down south as the cold weather hits the north?
We've talked about it. There's definitely some races that we've talked about, but we're throwing that in the air, and we're throwing the idea around to just take the off season off and just get our cars ready and just prepare ourselves even more for next year. Because even if you do a race in December, if you do a race in November, but it's still you park the cars now after the last race in October, then you really don't have time to take them completely apart and go through them and get them ready for that race in November. And then if you do that, you don't have enough time to get them ready for March. So we might just take the off season off and just recuperate a little bit, get a crew together, and hit it hard next year and really go after a championship next year.
That does sound very, it sounds like the right way to do it. As far as if you're trying to chase a championship, you definitely want to concentrate solely on that championship. But who the hell am I to say anything? I own the car, so. But that's never stopped me before, Al. But
no, that's right. Yeah, but.
So Brian's coming on. He's going to talk about his Milk Bowl victory and his 8 championships and just the incredible seasons he's had of late. What's it like to race him? No, when you see that 37, I mean, is what goes through your mind? Is it I got to beat him? I got to stay with him. What goes through your mind when you're racing somebody like Brian Hoare?
I mean, there's no one more that you want to beat. I mean, if you're a driver and you really want to beat someone, you want to beat the best. I mean, that's why people do this. You do it for the competition. You don't go somewhere where I'm going to win this weekend. You want to beat the best, and to be called the best, you got to beat the best. And Brian Hoare is just, I mean, he's unbelievable. He's got great equipment. He's a great driver, and he knows how to make his stuff last, and he knows how to win races. And he's just tough to beat. And those guys, him and Rick Bay, they have it figured out. And we're trying. Last year we thought we had an upper hand on him, and like everyone else said, we were going to go into this season and have a chance to kind of dethrone him. But they definitely did their homework in the off season and got their cars where they needed to be. And last year, I think he even said it's going to be tough to have a year like we did this past year. But I mean, this year he outdid himself from last year, and it's just he's a tough guy to beat and great guy. I respect him, just more than anyone out there. But I want to beat him more than anyone out there too.
It does seem like the second half of last year and the first half of this year that you guys are getting a friendly rivalry going. And that's been really fun to watch, especially the last half of last year.
Yeah, I mean, the end of last year it was awesome. It seemed like from the Labor Day Classic on, it was him and I, battling for the win and side by side, and I don't think we ever really even touched once. It was just like you said, that friendly rivalry thing where we both want to beat each other, and it's really cool, and to be able to race him like that at where I'm at in my career, to be able to race him, someone who's accomplished as much as he has, it's pretty cool to have that friendly rivalry with him.
Yeah, he's I think Brian's right around my age. I think he's 40 or so. So yeah, he's got a few years on. He might be a little bit younger, but I mean, you guys are having similar careers. I mean, he did win a championship early in his career, but you guys are, you're both winning quite a bit. I mean, you got 8 victories. You're tied for 5th in all-time victories already, and with a good year next year, you could definitely be ahead of Brent Dragon, who has, and Phil Scott. Phil Scott doesn't do much tour racing now, but Brian's of course got 33 victories, which I don't know if anybody's going to touch that at the rate he's adding them to the list, But,
yeah, he's pretty far ahead.
What are your thoughts on next week?
Oh, he's the nicest guy, I think, in the pit area, and just, you love to talk to him. You love to talk to him about the car. He'll tell you anything you want to know, and he's great to race with out on the track. He's a clean, respectable driver, and I think he's an amazing driver. I mean, look at what he's done. He's almost won 3 races in 3 different cars, so it doesn't really matter what he gets.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, if he gets in your car, you're gonna have a shot to win. So to be able to just put a driver in your car and go out there and have a shot to win, that pretty much speaks for itself.
I gotta find something wrong with him. He's too nice of a guy.
Right?
I haven't been able to find anything wrong with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, when you're still only 22, so you're just a young pup in the racing world. So it's actually you're old in the racing world, but in real life you're still a young guy. But what do you want to be when you maybe it's too early to think about this, but when you are done racing, whenever that may be, what do you want to be remembered as?
Well, it's a good question. I definitely want to add championships, to my stats. That speaks for itself. You definitely want to have that and be able to say you've been a champion in divisions that you raced in. And I just want to be remembered as a good race car driver, and that when I go to the racetrack, people know that, well, he's got a shot to win, and not just one racetrack. I want to be able to go to any racetrack that we go to on the tour, and people to say, well, we're going to have to beat him, and he's going to be tough to beat, and just to leave a mark like that. Just to be able to say already that, I won the Milk Bowl, won the ACT Invitational at the age I'm at now, to me is just, unreal, and I'm sure it'll mean even more when I'm older and have kids of my own, to be able to say, if they get into racing, to be able to say, look what I've done. If they start thinking, that they're doing good or whatever, it'll be pretty cool just to be able to say something like that.
Well, that's for sure, man. Here's a random stat of yours I just came across. You've got 8 ACT victories on 6 different tracks. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's not bad. Actually, my dad and I were doing that today. We were trying to figure out what tracks we've won at, how many times, and whatnot. And you've got Seekonk, you got Waterford, you got Lee, you got Thunder Road, you got Oxford, and you got Airborne. Yep, and we've not including those. We've won in
point races.
Yeah, in point races. So to be able to say that,
Canaan, you got New Hampshire.
Yep, Canaan, New Hampshire, New Smyrna. It's just
no, I'm sorry. You got 7 tracks. You got Beach Ridge as well.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. What's that?
You're spreading the wealth around.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an awesome feeling to be able to say that, we've won at Airborne, Beach Ridge, all those tracks. It's an awesome feeling. It's great, and it's not just one person effort. It's the whole team. We really think about what we're going to put in the car for a setup, and we've really done our homework this year. Kind of a little bit late, but we've tried so many different things this year. And finally, it's the end of the year, but we found something that works, and hopefully, we build off of this last weekend here and go into the off season with a positive attitude. It's a tough way to end your year having a bad weekend going into the off season. So to be able to end it on a positive note like that, it's just like you said, it's going to build for next year.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better to win Airborne than win Lee.
Yeah, especially, my first couple times there, that's a tough track. It's a really tough track to figure out and to be able to run fast. And, guys that have been on the Act Tour for a while, guys like Brian and Brent, they've run there for a long time, and it's just it's an awesome feeling to be able to go, and not to mention that track's totally different than pretty much anything we go to. So to be able to put, that track on my win list, it's a pretty special feeling.
For sure. Big win in the 97 New Hampshire camp, for sure. ACT could go to Florida, yes or no?
I haven't heard anything about it. It's at this time last year it was a huge talk. Trying to figure out what teams are going and what teams weren't. So I haven't heard anything about it. I know it's an expensive trip. For our guys, everyone going down there. I know for a fact last year that we put on, I think, the best show down there, and I think a lot of people knew that. I talked to a lot of different people down there that had never seen ACT before and that were really impressed with it. So, I don't think it's not, if we don't go, it's not that they don't want us to go. It's just, Tom Curley knows that it's an expensive trip for us local guys up here. So, if anything, if we don't go, I think it'd just be, for money reasons.
Yeah, I believe that New Smyrna's already invited you guys back, and I think they invited Tom before he even left last year. So they were impressed. It definitely was. Everybody was worried about how the Pro Stocks are going to make the late models look slow and all that jazz. But, you want to take a call, Joey?
Yeah, definitely.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Joey, Brian Hannaford calling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Good show. It's on the road. I'm sorry that I missed the New York trip, but yeah, I'm pretty impressed on how you guys can, you're not like a Saturday night racer that can go to the same track and win every other week. You guys mix it up and diversified, and you've got a pretty diversified group of tracks that you won at, and I'm wondering, what's the next step as far as, I know you've got some good people behind you, but do you have some marketing people? And I know that's the next step for you.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you. Yeah, we definitely, it's like I said, it's an awesome feeling to have won at all those different tracks. But, you hit the nail on the head there. It's all about marketing. It's all about getting sponsorship and, to move up to, I guess, the next level, I guess you would say, the K&N E-Series or something like that. It's not so much about talent. It's about, how much money can you bring with you. And, that's just the route that, the racing's gone. And the way the economy is, it's just, I'm sure as it's just tough to find anybody that's willing to lend some money and, get to the next level. So, we're trying. We have people trying to find us sponsors. We have people that are trying to help us in a lot of different ways. It's just, it's tough out there right now, and we're just trying to make the best with what we have. And, and if, something comes along, then, we're going to take advantage of the opportunity. But if not, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and try to win races and try to, let our record speak for itself.
Yeah, I've seen some of the guys from the Northeast. I've noticed that, the K&N Series isn't really the calling card because nobody wants to spend the money because the technology is so far advanced in the South. And, that's one thing I think Curly does a good job at keeping a level playing field. And, that's what I'm real impressed about, how you and your dad and the crew members that you got stick together, and the left hand knows what the right hand is doing, and you come to, always know when that 97 unloads that it's going to be fast and it's going to be there at the end.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, that's an awesome feeling to be able to know that people are thinking that, that we're going to have a shot to win. And, and like you said, too, it's so big in the K&N Series, you can try. I mean, you can go out and buy a Can-Am Series car and buy an engine for, as much money as you would spend for one race with, a Gibbs team. But the thing is, like you said, those guys, their technology with their chassis pull-down rigs and full-time crew members,